Hey everybody, I'm Paul. This is Pretty Good Golf, and in this video I'm going to compare one of the most popular, probably the most popular wedge in golf to the CBX Zip Core. It's the full face. It's got a little bit more technology, should be a little bit more forgiving. I'm a mid-handicap golfer. This is designed for mid-handicap golfers, so let's see how it compares to the most popular wedge in golf in the Vokey SM10. I'm going to compare 50-yard shots and full swings, and then I'll give you my results and my verdict on which is best for the mid-handicap golfer. So first up, I'll talk a little bit about looks. The Vokey is much more of a traditional, a little bit nicer to look at behind the ball, and just in general, it's got a thinner top line than the Cleveland. It feels less chunky. It feels more like a blade, which is what it is. I would say overall it looks quite nice. Nothing wrong with the looks of the Vokey. And then looking at the Cleveland, it's a little thicker. It's got a thicker top line. It's got the full face, which I don't really love. So the grooves go all the way up, and it does inspire some confidence, but at the same time, it feels like it could be a little chunky. So preference-wise, I'd probably say the Vokey looks a bit better, but I might be more confident over a full swing with the Cleveland. Okay, we got 50-yard shots, starting with the Vokey. I've got a Titleist Pro V1, brand new. I'm gonna hit about 10 shots with each club, and I'll choose 5 of the most consistent ones so I can get a good comparison. I'm not a robot, but I can definitely hit 5 good ones out of 10. First shot a little long with the Vokey, but had good feel to it. A bit better distance. Nice. Okay, that was a good first set with the Vokey. Some pretty decent numbers, at least 8 good ones there. So that seemed pretty easy to hit some good shots with the Vokey. Next up, I've got the Cleveland Full Face CBX, and I'll hit some 50-yard shots. Again, about 10 shots, and I'll aim for 5 good ones for comparison purposes. I do find right away that the speed picks up with the CBX, so I gotta take some off of it compared to the Vokey for these 50-yard shots. It's a little better. Okay, good last one. With the Cleveland, it felt like I had to take a little bit off, and we'll probably see that in the numbers, and that probably contributed to a bit of a lower spin, but I also think I'm gonna get lower spin on this anyways. So let's take a look at the 50-yard shot numbers. Okay, so comparing the Vokey and the Cleveland, they're both 54-degree wedges. For the 50-yard shot, I'll start with the club data because it tells a bit of an interesting story. I had to swing the Vokey about 6 miles an hour faster. I was getting over 1 smash factor with the Cleveland, and the Vokey was only 9.4. That's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It just says something that there's some more technology in that CBX, or a little more mass behind the head maybe, that's gonna give it a little more efficiency, which meant I did have lower spin on the Cleveland by quite a bit. Probably some of that is due to less club head speed, but ball speed was very similar between the two, and you can see there the carry was very close, 50 yards, 49 yards. Nothing on the clubs there. Both had very tight dispersion. For the 5 shots that I selected, I think the average distance from the hole was like under 5 feet. So a good set from both. Just a different type of club meant that I'm getting better, or I would say more and better spin with the Vokey, and much tighter spin here. With the Cleveland, I found I got some that spun up close to 7,000 and some that were below 5,900. So it definitely had more standard deviation of spin, meaning a lot more differences in each shot for the spin. So I'd say this one definitely goes to the Vokey for most consistent for the 50-yard shot. Okay, so starting with the Vokey for the full swing, I've got the green only at about 75 yards. Typically, I'll hit a 54 degree like 80 to 85. There is no 80-yard green on this foresight range, so I might fly the green, but that's okay. All we're looking for is consistency. I want to see this land about 82 to 84 every single time with consistent spin. Okay, good set with the Vokey here, trying to hit it 80 yards. It's pretty good besides falling over. That's more like what I was expecting. 80-yard carry, a little bit of backspin. Okay, moving on to the Cleveland CBX full face 2 for the full swing. I think this is probably going to go a little further than the Vokey, for better or worse. So I'm going to move the green to 100 yards and just see what happens with that. It's the same loft, but I think a little more heft behind the club head's going to help it go a bit further. Maybe heft is the wrong idea, a little more technology. It's feeling pretty consistent on the full swings. That one might have been a bit of a mishit, but it still went almost exactly the same. Man, this is a really consistent set on the full swing for the Cleveland. Keep looking down at the quad and I see 88, 88, 89. The carry is pretty much bang on. Okay, so comparing the full swing with the Vokey and the Cleveland, we can see if we go to the club data, similar club head speed. Cleveland maybe just over a mile an hour faster swinging, a little bit more efficiency as well. So we got a little more ball speed and less spin out of the Cleveland. So that meant we were carrying it about 5 yards further. So this doesn't show, it's because it's over 10, it's about 10,300 spin on average for the Vokey. The Cleveland was sub 10,000, but just barely, and carried 88 yards. Very little discrepancy in distance. Of the 5 here, they were all pretty much bang on 88 yards. And then with the Vokey, carry was only 83, and that was probably due to ball speed was a little bit less than the Cleveland. For me, I also did find that the Vokey was a lot harder to stay consistent. I did hit 5 good out of 10, but I only hit 5 good out of 10, whereas the Cleveland, I think I had 9 that were within about 3 yards carry. So a much easier club for me to hit at a full swing. And so for that reason, I think I would give the Cleveland CBX the nod on the full swing shots. I like a little bit more carry. I really don't love seeing my wedge only carry 83 yards. If a 54 degree is carrying 88 to 90, I'm really happy with that. And the spin, totally enough to stop on a green. Okay, so there you have it, the comprehensive test between the more forgiving Cleveland CBX and the traditionally loved Vokey SM10. I couldn't choose between the two of them, so what I would probably do in my bag is I would have something like a Vokey for my 50-yard shots and my partial wedge shots. That was much more consistent, better spin, just a better overall club for those partial shots. And then I'd have something with a little more forgiveness for the full swing shots. So carry that Vokey for the sand shots and the flop shots and all those in by the green shots and carry something like the CBX from Cleveland for the full swing. So thanks for watching. I hope you found that helpful. It's very interesting for me to test these things. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab a CBX for my bag. It's gonna replace one of my current wedges so I can hit those more consistent full shots. Okay, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.